Welcome class 9. Here we are going to begin part 2nd, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan from your chapter The Sound of the Music. In this chapter there is given description about the renowned Shehnai player Ustad Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan is the legendary name in the Indian history. He was the person who played the Shehnai on the very auspicious occasion of India's independence, that is 15th August 1947. When the first Prime Minister of a country addressed the newly independent nation, just after that, it was Bismillah Khan who played the Shehnai in order to greet the country on this auspicious occasion. Thinking of the Shehnai, and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or a function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro, playing this instrument. So whenever we name the word Shehnai, first comes the name of its great Shehnai player Bismillah Khan. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of musical instrument. Here it is described. The Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of pungi in his palace due to its sharp and unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. Generic stands for scientific name or the broad classification of something. And reed it is used in the wind instruments while playing the flutes and clarinets. So here it is described, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of pungi in his palace due to its sharp and unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Generic, that means scientific name or the broad classification of something. And reed, so reed is used in the wind instruments like flute, clarinets to produce the sounds. So here it means that any musical instrument which is made with reed like flute, clarinets, etc., they are classified as pungi. You had thought it would one day be revived, but nobody knew that this instrument would again come back to life. Revive means to brought back to life. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of pungi. Tonal quality, sound quality. So the credit goes to the barber of a royal palace who brought back the pungi to the life. So here it is told. So how he did? So he decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So he planned that he would improve the sound quality of this pungi. He chose a pipe with natural hollow stem. So he took a pipe with the natural hollow stem. Hollow means empty. That was longer and broader than the pungi. So he took a pipe which had the hollow stem, but it was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. And then on the same, he made the 7 holes on the body of that pipe. Children, you may have seen the flute. It is also looked something like this. So it is also a pipe which is hollow from inside and has holes on it. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So when he blew air into this pipe and he opened and closed the different holes of it, and melodious sound produced by it, he played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. Then he played the same instrument in the royal court and everybody liked the sound of this instrument. The instrument, so different from pungi, had to be given a new name. Everybody was impressed by its sound. They thought it should be given some different name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a Nai means barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. The sound of Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means a thing that promised to bring the good luck. So here it is told its sound is considered to be very important and it is the sign of the good luck in our Indian culture. And for this reason, it is still played in the temples, and for the same reason, it is played in the religious functions and in the temples, and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Indispensable, inseparable. So, they are really important in all the North Indian weddings of our country. Till recently, it was used only in temples and the weddings. So, it is said till the present time, it was only played at king's courts, in temples and weddings, and only in the religious function. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. But the credit goes only to Ustad Bismillah Khan, this legendary Shehnai player who brought the honor to this instrument to bring on the classical stage. The whole credit to bring the popularity to this musical instrument, it goes to the legendary Shehnai player Bismillah Khan. In the next paragraph, you will get the detail about this great musician, how the music it was flowing in the blood of this great musician. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dhumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chet, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. Here it is told, when Bismillah Khan was just 5 years old, he lived in the old state named Dhumrao, that is in present time in Bihar. He used to play gilli danda, that is also the Indian sport, quite similar to the cricket. He used to visit the nearby Bihariji temple, though he was Muslim. He used to sing their song Chet, that is in the Bhojpuri language, in praise of the god. After finishing his performance, he was also rewarded with a big laddu, that is of the weight of 1.25 kg. This was the prize given to Bismillah Khan by the local Maharaja for singing the Chet in praise of the god. To know about his great family background of musicians. Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. The lineage of his father's side was full of the great Shehnai players. We can say that Bismillah Khan acquired the skill of playing the Shehnai from his ancestors. So here it is told, when he was just 3 years old, his mother took him to her parents' house in Varanasi, and there the small boy looked his maternal uncles doing the practice with Shehnai. Maternal uncle, the uncles which belong to the lineage of the mother's side. He was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Fascinated, attracted. So the boy was attracted towards the instrument of Shehnai, and he felt the urge to learn playing it. Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Bismillah Khan now started going with his maternal uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Ali Baksh was on duty to play the Shehnai at the Vishnu temple. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and the Manglamaya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice favorite haunts. Apprentice means trainee, and haunts, that means frequently visiting your favorite place where he could practice in solitude. Solitude, that means being alone. So here it is told during his stay at Banaras for many years next, he used to visit the temple of Balaji, the temple of Manglamaya, and used to sit near the bank of the river Ganga, where he used to do the practice playing Shehnai all by himself. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Improvise, that means to create or produce something without effort. So thus we come to know about the talent of this great musician, that how he was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga that it provoked him to improve his music skills. Thus he was able to invent many ragas that were considered to be impossible ever to be produced by this musical instrument of Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, that is a music performance, Ustad Fiaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." When he was 14 years of age, he accompanied his uncle Ali Baksh to the Allahabad Music Conference. There, after his performance, Ustad Fiaz Khan, who is the renowned Indian classical vocalist, so he was quite impressed by the performance of this young Bismillah and said if he would work like that, he would surely make his name in the field of music. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. That means when All India Radio. This means with the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, Bismillah Khan got a big break in his career. He soon became the often heard Shehnai player on the radio. It was just after his memorable and melodious performance with Shehnai, our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, he addressed the nation with his famous speech, Traced with Destiny. When our country got independence on 15th August 1947, he became the first Indian to greet the entire nation through his Shehnai. Then he performed Rag Kafi on this memorable occasion from the Red Fort. Thus, his wonderful performance with Shehnai, it became the part of the Indian history. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Jahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Here we come to know about the popularity of Bismillah Khan at international level. He has not given the memorable performances in our country but abroad too. So one of such memorable show he has given in Afghanistan, where the King Jahir Shah, he was so fascinated by this grand musician that he has gifted him many valuable things, including Persian carpets and other Persian things, so that Ustad should always remember his first visit to abroad. We come to know that King Zahir was not the only king who was a fan of this great maestro, but there were many people who were enticed to his Shehnai and its melodious sound. Koon Jutti Shehnai was a name of Hindi movie made by Vijay Bhatt. He was the film director and really like the sound of Shehnai played by Bismillah Khan. That's why he named one of his movies as Goonj Uthi Shehnai after his favorite musical instrument, Shehnai. The song, composed by Ustad Bismillah Khan, it had broken all the records in the film world. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sanadi Apana. Celluloid term is used for the film world. Venture, that means projects which often involves risk. So here it is told, though the song was chartbuster in the film world, he got a lot of success with this film. But he composed music only for two films. Their names are Goonj Uthi Shehnai by Vijay Bhatt and one more Kannada movie by Vikram Srinivas with the name Sanadi Apana. I just cannot come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. He emphasized by saying that he didn't like the artificial world of films and the glamour. He thought that this film world is not made for him. That's why he didn't compose the music for any more films. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Thick and fast here means in great number. Bismillah Khan was honored with many awards and the prizes. He performed at the international level and became the music composer. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. So that's why he became the first Indian who performed in the world famous Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So that's why he also called to perform in the Cannes Art Festival and also in Japan at Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Tahar Mosik Ustad Bismillah Khan. This shows about his popularity. Tehran, it is in Iran. So, due to his popularity, the people of Iran, they have kept the name of one of their auditoriums after his name. National awards like Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. So this is the reason that he was honored with the national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. So this is the reason he was also awarded with the India's highest, most respectable civilian award, that is Bharat Ratna. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with the rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." Coveted means the much desired something. So here it is told, when he was honored with the India's most coveted award, that is Bharat Ratna, his eyes shine with the happiness. Glint means shine, because his hard work had been recognized. He gave an important message to the country people. He told all the Indians to teach music to their children, because music is the richest tradition of our country. He also said that even now the Western countries, they also want to learn Indian music. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. So here it is told that the people, they have given him the name of Khan Sahib with love and respect towards him. But this man who has got the popularity worldwide and has travelled all across the countries, he was exceedingly fond of his native place. First of Banaras, where he has learned the music, and Dumrao, where he was born and brought up. Of course, how he was deeply rooted to these two wonderful towns. A student of his once wanted him to head a Chennai school in the USA. So once one of his students he brought the proposal to start a music school of Chennai in the America, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. Replicating means to copy. So he also brought the proposal that is going to create the atmosphere of the temples there in America. Ustad declined his invitation by laughing. Is he able to transport the holy Ganga in America? Later, he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. Yearning, that means desiring. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga. And while in Banaras, I miss the unique mutt of Dumrao. Later, he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. Yearning means desiring. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga, and while in Banaras, I miss the unique mutt of Dumrao. So that's why he said, whenever I am in abroad, I used to miss my country, my Hindustan. And when he is in Mumbai, he used to miss the beautiful temples of Banaras. And whenever he is in Banaras, he used to miss the unique and the special mutts of Dumrao, that is lying in his native town. This shows how he was touched and attached to these two wonderful places. Ustad Bismillah Khan life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So thus we get the example of the rich cultural heritage part of India from the life of Ustad Bismillah Khan, the person who being a Muslim can play very naturally in the Hindu temple of Kashi Vishwanath without making any difference. So this is a perfect example of the India's rich cultural part. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. So it is said due to the contribution of this great musician, he was given the state honor at his death, and the Indian government, they have expressed their condolence over his death. Thus, from the story, we come to know how the qualities instilled in our life at the early age make the road to the success. The same is the reason behind the making of this great musician, Bismillah Khan. I hope you have all understood the chapter. Thank you, everyone.